Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Alaikum salam.
So good to see you, man. It's always.
Yes, indeed. Absolutely. Anytime we
You
can
know,
get together is a good day.
yes, it is. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know what? I'm repositioning my screen because the glare. Hopefully, it's. Can you see me? Okay.
Yeah, you're good. There's
Okay.
a little reflection in the glasses. Other than
Okay.
that, you're great. But we'll live with it. I'll take what I can get as long as I can sit with you.
Okay. I don't really need the glasses because I'm not going to be reading.
Yeah,
So we're
yeah.
good, man. We're good. So hey, I'm at your disposal. I'm here to learn, man.
Okay.
About the
Well,
vowels.
yes, indeed. We're gonna consolidate and get to the most important aspects of the language
Okay.
and learn how Allah expresses his thoughts, if you will, through creation. Creation is an agent.
Hmm.
In the same way that you would hire an agent to do a certain level of work for you,
Mm-hmm.
well, Allah, in this sense, hires language.
Hmm.
And that language is speaking for him.
Hmm.
The Christians understood this language and they put that concept in the concept that they call Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Christ is from an ancient language, from a word called kriatze,
Mm-hmm.
Kriatze. Very hard to find word. And
Hmm.
it's from the ancient Ogham language, Ogham, another language that's very hard to find. But your instructor has traced the tracks and have Allah has made it very easy for me to find these keys to language. But you can find some connections for the Ogham, sometimes spelled Ogam, for the Ogham language. And Christ in that language meant speaker for God.
Hmm.
So Christ is not an ancient literal figure, not in my mind. If
Mm-hmm.
he was that as a temporary person who came through a particular place in a particular part of history, and he served an individual purpose, and he served a purpose for the people in his immediate surroundings. But for me, he's not the historical figure that they paint him out to be. He's
Hmm.
a representative of how language operates in the world.
Yes.
So in both the Bible and the Quran, Christ is called the Word.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, he's called the Word in the Old Testament, and he's called a word from God in the
Mm-hmm.
Quran.
Mm-hmm.
Kalima, right? Min Allah, a kalima. And the reason he's called the kalima for us who speak the Arabic language and who study the Quran is because we know that kalima means word, but kalima doesn't mean word as a singular word. Kalima means word as a statement that must make sense to the brain.
Mm. Yes.
Kalima is not an emotional rant. Kalima is the kill him, kill the kufr. That's not kalima.
Mm-hmm.
Kalima is a development in the human mind that allows one to express themselves with some degree of emotion, but the end result of the statement must be rational.
Yes.
So what I'm saying to you right now for these Islamic phrases and terminology is true for language generally speaking. So Christ being a word and a word from God is the most concise way of saying that Christ represents two things, nature and how nature expresses herself.
Mm. Yes.
So that's just a hint for people who study, who would like to study on that level. Believe me, you'll get a lot more out of understanding Christ in the exact way that I gave it to you than you will in studying him the way the church gives him to you, or even the way Muslims give him to you.
Right.
All right.
Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And you can stop me along the way and ask me any questions.
Oh no, this is good, man.
All right.
I'm,
So a kalimat must make sense. Nature is designed to make sense to the human mind. Nature is designed so that if you pay adequate attention to what nature is expressing in any of its facets, in any of its forms, in any of its ideas, when it hits the human mind, it's going to hit the human mind in a way that allows the mind to unfold and express the best that Allah has placed in it.
Mm.
Now that's a mouthful right there. What I'm saying to you is that there are people who, on the most part, I would even say the majority of humans who do not speak with the Christ mind. They do not speak with a Quranic mind because the Quran is speaking an equivalent to what the Christians call Christ. The Quran is speaking what is called al-fitra.
Mm.
The fitra, people have heard me say that 1,000 times. And it's not just nature, although that's how they translate it, that it's nature. Um, But the fitra actually represents the various patterns that are presented through nature.
Mhm.
So nothing can enter the human mind except as a pattern, Pattern. And you can see that the consonantal connections for pattern gives you the same consonants necessary for fitra, the F, the T, and the R. The N
Yes.
in the word pattern is a suffix. It's not included in the root letters. The root letters are FTR, fitra, FITRAH, FTR are the consonants.
Mm.
Fa, Al, Ra.
Yes.
In pattern, we have P, T, R.
Yes.
And in Greek, the P, the T, and the R represent creation.
Mhm.
They call it a rock, like Peter,
Yes.
or
Yes.
petrified, right? You know that word, right? So
Yeah.
Petra means rock or stone. So that's what the fitra is. It's everything that can be gleaned through the studying of what rocks do and what rocks are and what stones are. That's why there's such pardon me, there's such attention paid to the so-called black stone in Mecca. The
Yes.
whole religion revolves around the black stone in Mecca. It shouldn't.
Mhm.
The whole religion should not revolve around materialism because that's what that represents also, the material world, not the other worlds. Allah is Rabbil Alameen. They
Yes.
say Lord of all the worlds, but they gave us a Rabbah who is pretty much the God of the material world. And that's
Mm.
the same mistake that Christians made before Muslims started doing their thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, the Christians presented God in a matter form, in the form of a physical body, and it's the body that makes all of the difference in the world. If
Mm.
I could just touch the hem of Christ, I'll be saved. I'll be pure. I'll be this. I'll be that. All right. If I could just touch the Kaaba, the Kaaba is a skirt.
Mhm.
The Kiswa, it wears a skirt, the Kaaba.
Mhm. Mhm.
And the Christian song says, if I could just touch the hem of his garment, I'll be
Yes.
whole.
Mm.
Very famous Sam Cooke song.
Yes.
Beautiful. He
Okay.
does it. He sings it beautifully too.
Mhm.
Right. So the hem and the skirt represent the drapery of the Kaaba and of the person. If a female is wearing a skirt or male, the Greeks used to wear skirts. The Muslims sometimes they don't wear skirts, but they do wear dresses. Fabric that cover the majority of the body. But that's not you. That's not you. That's just the draping for you. That's the protection for you.
Mhm.
So I'm saying all of this to point the arrow back to the concept of language and what the purpose of language is. The purpose of language is not that language is you. It's not that the Arabic we speak from the Quran is Allah, or it's not even that it's us. If you don't speak Arabic, you're not really saying anything. You don't have a real language. You don't have the original language if you don't speak Arabic. No, the original language is built into the fitrah, but you have to uncover it. Just
Yes.
like you have to undress a body that's been draped or dressed. And if you don't pay enough attention to know how to undrape that body, where the buttons are, where the seams are, where the pockets are, if they have any, if you don't know how to do that, then you'll never really get a chance to see the secrets beneath the skirt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the fitra. The fitra is hidden until you begin to pay the kind of attention that will allow you to undress the fitra.
Yes.
And believe me, this concept is throughout the Bible, and it is also, unbeknownst to most Muslims, it's throughout the Quran.
Hmm.
The idea of dress, the reason, the purpose why Allah gave us dress,
Hmm.
to hide our shame.
Hmm.
That's what language does.
Mm.
If
That's
it weren't
good.
for language, we'd be we're talking to each other like we used to. Allah gave us language to civilize us,
Right.
to
Yes.
tame us, to
Right.
bring us into a sense of civility.
Yes.
How beautiful is it? If I said no more, man, you got a class that'll last you for another 6 months of study.
Oh, and hey, I'm definitely going to go back and this is recorded, correct?
Yes, it is. Yes.
So I'm going to definitely be going back and just taking copious notes.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
you
See,
said a lot.
see, dress. Dress is from the Arabic word. I'm going to let you figure it out based on the consonants. You tell me what Arabic word it should be from.
Well, one word would be daughter, sir.
There you go. That's the only word.
Hmm.
That's directly related.
Yes.
And what is darasa? What does that mean?
Well, it means to study. So that means you're gonna have to apply your intelligence
Yes,
to pull things together.
my man. Yeah. So that's what dress is. Dress is language.
Yes, it is.
Dress is the understanding of those things that you give meticulous attention to as study, as a subject matter. You can't learn language unless you pay attention,
That's right.
unless you know how to apply the letters and the logic.
Yes.
So language comes at us through two major avenues. It comes at us through the consonants, as we know, studying Nunetics, it's about the consonantal connections. But it also comes at us through what are called the vowels.
Okay.
And if anyone should see this outside of us, it's a Vowels. And of course, it has a smaller word within it, vowel. So, what is a vowel? When do we take vowels? Where do we take vowels? That would be the question.
Well, first thing comes to mind, well, when you wed, when you want to take a wife, because that's serious. That's a vow. It means you are gonna. It's telling you this is adult stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
This is for the
Put your big
mature.
boy pants on, right? Yeah,
Yes.
you're gonna take a vow. You better put your big boy pants on. This is
Yes.
responsibility.
Responsibility. Yes.
See? So vowel, vowel. The EL on the end of the word vowel simply means, they say it means God, EL, God. But it doesn't mean God in the sense of Allah or the source creator. It means God in the sense of power.
Hmm.
So words in the Quran, words in all scriptures are words of power. When Allah speaks about Laylatul Qadr, and they translate it as the night of power, it's the night of power, but it's a surah that is showing us how to get to the intricacies of language,
Hmm.
words of power. See, Layla, Laylat is what it's saying. Laylat. Because it's Laylatul. See, Laylat ul Qadr. But the word that they're translating as Layl They're calling it night, but that's the word Layl with no Laylat attached.
Mhm.
There's no Tad Marbuta T. There's no Tad
Mhm.
Marbuta attached to Laylat.
Mhm.
I mean, to Laylat there is, but not to Layl. Layl is the word that you see when Allah is describing Ramadan and when to stop fasting, you know, when the night approaches and that kind of thing. That's a Layl. But Laylat, first of all, is feminine because of the
Yes.
Tad Marbuta. You know that, right?
Right.
And it's not talking about night in the physical cosmic sense of night. It's talking about night in terms of the absence of light.
Mm.
And the absence of light produces ignorance.
Right.
The absence of light in the mind produces
Mhm.
ignorance.
Mhm.
And Laylatul Qadr is the day when a particular level of power will appear that will dissipate the night. It will eventually do away with the night, but it's going to do it in a way where there is no force. See, it's not the night of force. People mistake force and power. Force is when you come against something aggressively. Power is what the sun does when it rises in the morning.
Mhm.
But if you're not looking at it, you won't hear a thing
Mhm.
when the sun comes up.
Mhm.
If you're not looking at it, you won't hear a thing when the flowers begin to bud,
Mhm.
when they open up and bloom and block. You won't, if you're not looking, if you're not studying it meticulously, you won't hear a thing because the most magnificent parts of this creation, as Allah created it, come into existence very quietly.
Mhm.
We could say they come into existence silently.
Mhm.
And silent, based on my study, I believe they got that English word from the study of the word salat.
Mhm. It's silent.
Yeah, silent. Just take
Silent.
out the N.
Right.
The N is called a nasalization when they add an N to a word.
Mhm.
Okay, and there are many examples of that in the Quran and in regular language. It's called nasalization. Your nasal is noon, the letter N. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So when they add an N into a word that did not originally have an N, it's called nasalization. So when you add an N to the word salat, you get silent.
Yes.
You see it?
No, and because even as you were talking, because when you perform the different movements, it's in silence,
Exactly.
and and the majority of our um recitations, it's quiet, with the exception
That's
of
right.
I mean, there's certain prayers where I think it's what I know, like Dhuhr and Asr, those are all silent,
Yeah.
in terms of we don't you don't even hear we don't you don't even hear the words
Yeah.
being spoken.
Yeah. Well, we're going to even bypass that idea because the objective for us is to concentrate solely on what Allah says in the Quran.
Hmm.
And Allah does not make a differentiation between prayers said out loud and prayers said underneath your breath and prayers mumbled in your head. And the scholars introduced that. And I
Hmm.
put scholars in quotation marks right now.
Hmm.
But the scholars introduced that. The Quran simply says choose a medium between don't pronounce them too loud and don't pronounce them too soft.
Right.
But that's still you talking to yourself because that's how you talk to yourself, unless you're screaming
Hmm.
at yourself in your own head. Why
Hmm.
did I do that? But that's unusual.
Right.
The average conversation for the average one of us in our own heads is
Right.
not too loud and not
That,
too low. But
that's right.
Allah says seek a middle ground, right? Everything
Right.
is based on the medium, the middle.
The medium. Yes.
Yeah. But it still doesn't mean to speak so that someone else can hear you.
Hmm.
Because the salat, as they describe it, is a practice that should be rendered even if you're by yourself.
Hmm.
So then who are you talking to
Yes.
in that medium tone?
Hmm.
See, these are the things that are going to be in a brand new book by me, which I hope to finish in less than a week.
Mm. Okay.
And it's called Everything You Need to Know About the Salat, but Did Not Know to Ask. You remember a book like that? I don't know if you're old enough. You're old enough to remember that there was a book I think came out during the 1970s, written by this sex therapist, and it was called Everything You Need to Know About Sex, but Were Afraid to
We're afraid
Ask.
to ask. That's right.
Yeah, you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
playing on that. Everything you
Okay.
need to know about the Salat, but didn't know to ask.
Ask.
It wouldn't have even been a question because you wouldn't have even known to ask the questions that I'm going to have in this book about the Salat.
Right.
But it's going to be proven from the study of the Quran.
Hmm.
And I'm saying that the most important part of what we're discussing is that Salat represents silence or being silent.
Hmm.
That's point number one on that subject.
Okay.
The human brain has been through many, many years. We don't know how long, but we do know that it's been through many years of human evolution, not Darwin evolution, human, natural, unfolding, unpacking. Like I told you about the light from the sun, it doesn't holler at you to say it's here. It just shows up, and it shows up very softly.
Hmm.
That's how language has unpacked itself also. And it is speaking first and foremost to your emotions, and secondarily, or we can even say later in the history of the development of language, it began to speak to the human being rationally. In fact, there are actually three levels. You already know these. The first level is instinctively.
Right.
That's the first language for all creatures, human, animals, insects, doesn't matter. All creatures begin in the language of their basic instincts. And your basic instincts can speak to you silently, as it does when somebody gets horny from looking at a picture. He's
Hmm.
not saying anything,
Right.
but his body is.
That's right. Yep. Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
what brings you into puberty. You have curiosities and that kind of
Yes.
thing, and now all of a sudden, Susan sitting next to you in the next desk, she begins to look different.
Yes.
You don't want to take pigtails and dump them in the ink anymore. You no, especially when she gets those pigtails out of her hair and she starts putting that little curl in her hair, for
Right.
graduation, and she's doing all, and then the brother's looking, a little 12-year-old, whoa, 13 years old, 14 years old, That's a language, even though he's not saying anything. He can say something, but generally he's not saying anything. He's going through what they call puberty.
Hmm.
It's a silent language, but
Hmm.
eating is a silent language. Anger or protecting yourself against an aggressor. You can do that in the silence that's inside of you, and it could come out at any time, man. I'm just tired of this guy messing with me. And all of a sudden, bam,
Hmm.
you knocked him on the floor. See? So instincts are the first language for all creatures, not just humans.
Hmm.
Emotions are the first language for all mammals.
Right.
And rational expression is the first language for typical humans,
Hmm.
human beings. Not all human beings communicate rationally. Most human beings communicate emotionally.
Hmm.
And there has been a plan, a plot afoot for many years now to bring human beings to the point where they communicate mostly on the instinctive level. And the instinctive level is the level of pure survival. What do I need to do to survive? If I have to hit another animal in the head or do something nefarious, it's like the brothers of Yusuf were thinking, let's kill Yusuf and we'll make up for it later. We'll repent later. We have to do this thing now. This is an imperative on us. We have to kill Yusuf. He's going to spoil all of our play. Our father is in love with this little kid, this little brother.
Hmm.
We can't have that. Then the favor won't be on us. See, this is how people who are caught up in their reptilian brain, this is how they think. That's what it's called. That instinctive brain is called the reptilian brain because it operates like
Right.
a reptile.
Hmm.
Reptile will eat your baby live and won't pick his teeth and keep going.
Hmm.
He won't care. And guess what? If you left that baby in the vicinity of a snake, of a whatever kind of snake will kill or eat, or sometimes they'll eat that baby whole if you let them out of the cage at the right time,
That's
in the
right.
right place.
Hmm.
Or if you're in an area where that's where snakes are and that's what they do, there's no repentance in a snake.
Hmm.
That's why you see people committing these crimes out here and there's no repentance in them. You notice that?
Yes.
Somebody just shot another four people today somewhere in somebody's state,
Hmm.
and they walk away from it like nothing happened.
Right.
And in the same manner as the reptile, that person will do the same thing again if given another opportunity and if he gets hungry enough. See, if the snake is not hungry, he's not going to eat.
That's
But
right.
when that snake gets hungry,
Hmm.
he has no sense of differentiation.
Hmm.
That's a child. That person has a mother. I'm not going to do that to his mother. Reptiles don't have that kind of differentiation. They just go for it because they are hungry. Their
Hmm.
belly is aching. It's on fire. They have to appease that fire in their belly. So we have been expressing ourselves for thousands of years, maybe hundreds of generations as humans. We have been expressing ourselves through these three modalities: instinctive expression, which comes out mostly in terms of action, things that we do;
Hmm.
emotional expression, which comes out mostly based on how we feel about the thing we are observing, good or
Right.
bad. It can be good emotions, can be terrible emotions. And then rational expression, which again can be for the good or for the bad. Rational expression without any emotional checks on it will become a devil,
Hmm.
pure D devil, because it's not operating just on instinctive behaviors. It's not just nature
Hmm.
prompting it, it's nature prompting it, but because it bypasses emotions, natural emotions, and goes straight to the conning part of the mind, the
Hmm.
rational mind,
Hmm.
it can rationalize any level of evil.
Hmm.
So that's when a human being becomes a demon being,
Right. No,
right?
that's true. Yeah. No, that's really good. No.
Yeah. All right. Now let's get to the meat of the matter here.
Okay.
Consonants. Let's look at the word first. Consonant. Do you already know what it means?
With sound,
Yeah, there you go. Tell me what part means with.
the con,
Yeah,
the prefix.
very good. And then sonant obviously means sound
Yes.
from the same root as the word sonar,
Hmm.
which means sound. Okay, so consonant means that this particular thing has to come with sound before it can be viable, before we can use it. So the average consonant has no sound. The average consonant has no soul. Sound is where the soul is.
Hmm.
And I got that from Imam Muhammad, not those words, but a he said that a consonant doesn't have a sound, and he said that the sound is the soul of the letter. Now let's
Yes.
explain that.
Hmm.
So when you think about the average consonant, what letters do you think about?
What the average
The
consonant?
average consonant, yeah. Name any consonant.
Uh, like K, B, M,
T,
T,
Z,
Z,
R. Yeah.
R.
Any consonant, any of the, all of them are all of them are consonants. So you can name any consonant. However, in reality,
Hmm.
those are not consonants at all. Those are combinations
Hmm.
of consonants and vowels.
Hmm.
When I say B, the vowel E is still in there.
That's true. Yes.
When I say R, the ah is still in there.
Hmm.
But a pure consonant will only have the sound of the letter, meaning when I say B in this explanation, it's just, I don't know if you can hear that, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's all it is. K is, that's all it
Yes.
is. S is S, that's it. No
Right.
vowel.
That's true. Yes.
All right. So now that's the major difference between a consonant and a vowel. They don't
Mm.
teach you this in school.
Hmm.
Those teachers, they're masters of language and they don't know that. If they do know it, then they're not teaching it to you on purpose. I don't know what the purpose would be. It'll only make you smarter when you
Yes.
understand that consonants and vowels are supposed to be married. They're supposed to be wedded, the word you used earlier.
Hmm.
Everything in creation is based on masculine, feminine principles of
Right.
operation.
Hmm.
What would a vowel be, masculine or feminine?
Oh, let me see. Vowel.
Hmm.
Well, if it's um if it's by itself, it'd be masculine.
Tell me why.
I would equate it to, well, like the process of conception, like the sperm from a male, uh only until it meets with the egg of the woman does life begin.
Hmm.
So
Now, can that process happen if the female is not open?
hmm,
If the female is not open to the relationship, we're talking generally, I'm not talking about rape and all that foolishness.
right, right,
If the
right.
female is not open to the idea of having sex with this guy, this male,
Hmm.
this husband, this boyfriend, or whatever, if she's not open to that, can that relationship occur outside of forced
Right.
relationship?
No,
No.
no,
So that means that she has to be open.
open, right?
Now, when you think about a vowel, is a vowel an open sound or
Yes.
is it a closed sound? All right. So is a vowel masculine or feminine? I go back to my question.
Well, then the vowel would be feminine because it's opening up.
You hit it on the head. All open-mouthed sounds are vowels and are therefore feminine because the feminine principle is an open principle. It's a circle. It's an oval like the vagina.
Yes.
It is a house, an enclosure like the pregnant belly. Those are all feminine principles, like the breast.
Right.
That's a feminine principle.
Hmm.
Okay, and the baby's mouth has to be open to wrap his little mouth around the nipples.
Right.
So that's all you have to look for. If you're looking for the principle of the letter, look for whether the pronunciation is an open sound like A, E, I, O, U. Those are
Yeah.
all open sounds. Those are English vowels. And the same
Hmm.
for vowels, ah, I, U in Arabic. The mouth has to be open. And there's one other principle that the mouth it cannot have any connections. When I say B as a consonant for B, the two lips have to come together. Same thing for when I say M or M, the two lips have to come together. When I say T for T or D for D, The tongue has to touch the top palate, or it has not the top palate. The tongue has to touch the back of the two front teeth to
Mm-hmm.
say ta, ta, ta. So there's always going to be some touching involved
Mm-hmm.
for all consonants, even if it's the consonant X, X. You see that? There's really the K in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
X.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There has to be some coming together and some touching. That's what makes consonants masculine in theory,
Mm-hmm.
because historically speaking, it has been the male who has been assigned the role of going outside of the house to touch others in his business dealings. He shakes a person's hand and he's making a deal. Why is he making the deal? So he can bring home some more money to feed his family. Why is he working with another person and picking up rocks and boulders and moving them from one place to another to begin building a community or whatever? He's making that connection because it's a masculine principle,
Yes.
right? All right. So consonants are sounds that occur whenever any part of your mouth touches another part of your mouth.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
If I say S, my teeth are still touching.
Mm-hmm.
S.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's a K, you can feel it in the back of your throat when you say huh, huh, the
Mm-hmm.
back is touching. Cough, the Q sound. Cough. You feel it back there. Cough, cough, guttural. All right. So these consonants occupy basically seven parts of the human mouth. And the vowel sound is a qualifier. I'm going to begin to use some words that are a little more sophisticated. The consonants are the thing that is giving the word its true meaning.
Mm-hmm.
The vowels are the things that are giving the word its level of nuance, flavor, direction, that kind of thing. Okay,
I have a question. If
go
I,
right ahead.
if I, so as you were talking, so I was just thinking, so let's take like the consonants of like a calf by itself and a ta by itself and a ba by itself. So
Yes.
if you write down on a piece of paper, well, let's just say it's the root. So cat ta ba.
Hmm.
Okay, but there's no vowels. It's just those letters.
Yeah.
So as I'm listening to you, one thought that came to mind was if I see a cat, tat, and a bat on a piece of paper,
Hmm.
okay, they just look like, well, they're pictures of something, but I don't know necessarily what it means unless if I put like if I put vowels on it,
Hmm.
then when I hear like ka, ta, ba, then I know that by the sounds associated with each vowel,
Hmm.
it's telling me that it's in reference to, well, book or writing.
Yes.
So the sounds is what brings the meaning out. Whereas when the sounds aren't present, the meaning is hidden,
Yes. Obscured.
obscured,
Yeah, it's not completely hidden,
not
but it's
hidden.
obscured.
It's
And
obscured.
that's why you have to be a thinker. You have to be
Mhm.
using your rational mind in order to understand language.
Okay.
It's not just something you feel unless you're a very intuitive feeler or
Hmm.
emotional person. You won't get it. You can only get it, or I should say, on the most part, you will get it if you begin to think about those sounds. A sound of a letter is called a phoneme.
Okay.
Phoneme. Phoneme. It's just a fancy word for sound. And from that, Thanks to the Greeks, we got the word phonics
mm,
or phonetics from phoneme. And that's because they were given the name Phoenicians.
mhm,
They didn't name themselves that.
mhm,
They were called Canaanites or Canaanites. Some people pronounce it the Canaanites. But the Greeks gave them the name Phoenicians
mm,
because the Greeks understood that the way these Phoenicians were moving and trying to take stuff over and trying to influence their language, they knew something corrupt was beneath the skin or beneath the dress in this case, right? So they called them Phoenicians because they knew that they were not being totally honest. This is, again, something that most people in academia are not aware of.
mhm,
They were not being totally honest. So from the word Phoenician, we get the word phony.
mm,
Yeah, he's being a phony.
mhm.
In other words, the dress he is presenting to us is not the real dress. See, remember, dress is language.
Right.
Darasa, it's something you study intensely.
Mhm,
Now, it's also where we get the word phone,
mm,
like the telephone that we talk on.
mhm.
You know, when you and I were little boys, the phone would ring and we'd like to be the ones to answer. You know, mommy, can I answer the phone? Can I answer? She, yeah, go ahead, go ahead. I'm expecting grandma to call. Yeah. So you listen. Hello, hello. Hey, boy, this is your grandma. You know, grandma, I love you. When we come over to see you? And he's talking just like grandma is standing there with him,
Yes.
but she's not.
Right.
And as I used to think she was in the phone when I was
Yeah.
little.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Just like we
Right.
used to think there were people in the radio. You remember?
Right. Right.
I thought my favorite music and band and singer was in the
Let me.
television. I'm looking at them, they moving. I never could explain a repeat performance, but that's my little mind because I'm thinking emotionally.
Right.
I'm not thinking rationally yet. So the phone is named the phone because it's giving you a phony person. It's
Hmm.
not your grandmother.
Hmm.
It's not your uncle. It's not the bill collector. Sounds like his voice. It's him and it's not him, you know, hocus pocus. It's magic.
Right. Right.
Same intonations. He's answering questions that I have, but he's on the phone. He's somewhere in Texas
Right.
fielding that call.
Hmm.
So it's a phony voice in terms of the reality of who it is, where he is, what he is, when he is, all of that. Because it could very well be a recording also, as we have found out. We start talking to the phone and this is a recording. You know, you thought, oh man, I thought I was talking to a live person.
Hmm.
Okay. But that's the whole idea behind phony. So phony is related to phonics, which is related to Phoenicians, which they saw as phony people because they went around the world subverting language.
Mm.
They went around the world changing the basic fabric of language so that it would reflect a scheme that they put into place that was designed to take over the entire world of people who were in a learning environment.
Mm.
And they did it by using inferences.
Mm.
And an inference is not a thing that's said directly about what something means. It's
Hmm.
when you infer that it
Hmm.
means that.
Hmm.
It's like when people inferred that the word black meant inferior.
Mm.
They wouldn't come out. Some of the diehard racists now, they had no problem saying, you nigger, you black. You know, they hated the word black, although, you know, it was their favorite color, you know, limousine, and you know, and they loved
Yes.
dark whiskey, and you know, so there are things and they loved black women, those
Yes.
men
Oh,
back then,
yes,
they
they
loved the
did.
black one, but they would infer that black had a negative meaning, but a nice black star-ridden or star. a starry sky, that's a beautiful thing.
Hmm.
And sometimes it's the light of day that will blind you.
That's right.
You can't look up there into the sun for so long. You understand?
Hmm.
So this is all Fitzgerald that's teaching us this. It's just the study of nature that's teaching us this.
Hmm.
If you're paying attention.
Yes,
If you're not paying attention, then the Fitzgerald can't help you. Those are
that's
words
right.
of Imam W.D. Muhammad. He said the Fitzgerald can only benefit you if you pay attention to the Fitzgerald.
Mm-hmm.
So if most people on earth are not paying attention to nature and how nature is expressing herself, then most people on earth are not really able to grow into their true human form because the
Hmm.
true human form takes an active intellect.
Hmm.
And you can't have an active intellect if you're not thinking on things in creation.
That's right.
And not just one time, not just upon impact, but repetitiously over and over and over again. You with me?
Hmm. Oh,
All right.
yes.
All right. Okay. So vowels are open, consonants are connecting. When we think about connections, we should be thinking about the human being's social nature, the nature that brings us into proximity with other people who we need to contact, who we need to reach out and touch.
Hmm.
So it's not strictly a masculine thing when we talk about contact or touching or making deals or anything like that, or "Hey, let's shake on it or whatever. Yeah, it's not necessarily strictly a masculine thing. The world is constantly growing and evolving. So when human beings reach the point where they can be in contact with females in a business deal, well, it's a test of your discipline. It's a test of your sense of humanity, really, that you can be in an open environment and have exchange with females in school, in the workplace, and these other places, and you not lose your voodoo.
Hmm.
You looked at a woman and lost your goose, you know.
That's right.
If you're at that level, we have
Yes,
to look at that person and say, boy, you are one of the most undisciplined men I've ever seen. You just
that's
looked
right.
at her and that happened.
Uh-huh. That's right. No, I hear you, man.
So it's language is pointing to a sophisticated idea, and that is how human beings have come into their graduation as human beings
Hmm.
on the rational level, the moral rational level.
Hmm.
The other side of rational is moral.
Hmm.
They go together like the two legs, moral,
Right.
rational, moral,
Hmm.
rational. That's how you make progress. Allah says, are the two alike? The one who is walking evenly on two and the one that is hopping down the road on one?
Right.
Allah asked the question, are they equal? He doesn't even give you an answer because he wants you to use your rational mind, figure it
That's
out.
right. That's right.
Right. So if you're just thinking rationally, again, if you're not using any moral input, if you're not investigating the rights and wrongs, you're just investigating the end goal, what I can get from this deal or what I can get from hitting this old lady in the head and grabbing her purse. And, I'll be good later. That's what the brothers of Yusuf were saying. We'll be good. We'll be righteous later. Let's do this thing now.
Hmm.
That's walking on one leg.
Right.
At the same time, you can't just have moral ideas floating in your brain and think that you can make it forward because you can't, you'll still be hopping on one leg and you can't make progress forward. So you
Hmm.
can't just think about the good of something, but not understand how to rationally implement it if you do find out it's good.
Right.
So you have to
Absolutely.
have the two legs of moral and rational thinking.
Thinking.
That's always a conversation that's going on in what's called the aql,
Hmm.
the intellect. Intellect means internal election. That's
Hmm.
what the word means as a verb.
Hmm.
It's a noun also, talking
Hmm.
about a particular part of the mind, yes. But what they don't tell us is that it is also a verb. It's a to-do word.
That's right.
It's something you do, internally electing things.
Hmm.
Nobody has to hear you. It's all happening inside your head. Am I going to go and run the streets with these gangbangers? or am I going to do the right thing and take my butt home for the night?
Right.
And nobody hears you saying it
That's
to
right.
yourself. You made an internal choice or
Hmm.
election.
Hmm.
That's what the intellect has been designed by the source creator to do.
Hmm.
All right. So I'm going to try to wrap this up in the next 10 minutes and we'll be
Oh,
through.
okay.
I want it to be thorough enough
Oh, yes, you have been.
that people will have no question about the legitimacy of the logic. Yeah, logic. That's where they get the word. They get that from leg also. Logic.
Mhm.
Yeah. So the vowel is looking for a mate.
Mm.
The consonant is also looking for a mate. One is feminine, that's the vowel, that's going to open herself up. The
Mhm.
other one is a consonant, which is going to reach out and touch, if you get what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
That's what males do. They reach out and they touch. They touch someone. They contact. You know what I'm saying, right?
Yes.
So this is why the female needs more protection, so to speak,
Yes.
than the male. She needs more. She needs more protection. She's got to be more careful when she's out in the public than he does, on the most part.
Right. Right.
Now she might be a fifth degree black belt and she can handle her own and all that. That's good. But you still don't want your wife out there fighting, having to fight no dude.
That's right. That's right, man.
And you never know when he's gonna pull a pistol. Because
Yes.
these guys out here today, man, it's so wild and crazy out here. This is really, really, truly the wild, wild west.
Yes, it is.
The Western world I'm talking about.
That's right. Absolutely.
So they have to marry. They have to come together and they have to commit to each other. When I give a word through language and I'm using consonants, the only way that consonant can express itself is if I add a vowel, or else I'm just going to sound like what we expressed earlier as you sound primitive.
Hmm.
If you don't add a vowel to that and say ta, take this,
Hmm.
I will see you on the other side of town. Those are a bunch of vowels that are giving the consonants their expression.
That's right.
So what is that saying theoretically about males and females? That a true man cannot truly express himself unless through a woman.
Mm.
Now that woman can be your mama, but it's got to be a feminine principle that you're operating with and through.
Hmm. Yes.
So that's why the logic falls flat on its face when we talk about homosexuality and these other things. I'm not trying to get on them about anything. I'm just trying to show them how far away from the fitra they are.
Yes. Hmm.
But this world has made everybody crazy to the point where some of the options for some
Ye-
people are beginning to look pretty good. Like these Negro men are so out of it.
Yes.
They don't want to work legitimate jobs. They want to sell drugs. They want to party on the weekend, every weekend with a different girl in their arm, and they want to snort coke. I'm talking about the worst of the worst now, not the average one,
Right.
but the
Right.
worst of the worst, man. And when a female sees that, and she says, when they finally get you in a closed environment, they want to practically rape you. They
Yes.
just met you.
Yes.
So I can't blame a young girl for not wanting to be with that specimen.
Yes. Absolutely.
I can't tell my niece or my female cousin, you know, this relationship you're having is homosexual, and it's God says He doesn't like that. It can't be that simple.
That's right.
That's right. Not when her relationship with men has been off since she's been 14 years old. Sometimes it's
Absolutely.
her father that ruined it.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Sometimes it's her uncle Pookie.
That's right.
that got up in there and ruined her idea of what a man is.
That's absolutely right.
And she's 14, 16 years old, 17
Hmm.
years old.
Hmm.
And mama let it happen because, Pookie has some money.
That's right.
So, we keep turning around. I hate to put it in so-called racial terms, but we turn around and we like to blame the so-called white man for all of our problems when the issues begin and end with us,
Absolutely.
not with any other people.
Hmm.
Because that ain't him that's doing that. He used to when he was a slave master. He
That's
had
right.
his way with our women and all of that. But this is what year? 2025 now. And we're
Right.
still crying that excuse
Hmm.
about what the white man won't let us do. Where's your manhood?
That's it. Yeah.
Anyway,
Hmm.
it's another story for another day.
No, no,
So
you spoke volumes there.
the vowels and the consonants, they come together to form patterns of sound, phonics, sound, that are able to express themselves articulately.
Right.
We're struggling for articulation when we're struggling to speak. The
Hmm.
baby, perfect example. The baby begins with inarticulate sounds.
Yeah.
The baby begins with vowels.
Yes.
As soon as that infant comes out of the womb and opens his or her mouth, they're shouting, screaming, crying vowels.
That's right.
What? His mouth is open.
Right.
You know why? Because Allah created his nature to be open when he's born.
Mm. Hmm.
He doesn't reject anything.
Right.
His daddy could be Jesse James. His daddy could be Adolf Hitler. He's not going to reject his daddy.
Hmm.
And that's because he doesn't know his daddy. He doesn't have sufficient knowledge.
Right.
Constant theme of the Quran. And they do not know. They do such and such without knowledge.
Mm.
Right?
Right.
So the knowledge quotient is important as a factor in understanding why human beings do what it is they do.
Right.
So
Right.
that child has no clue. He's just growing up in the house thinking his daddy is the baddest man in the world, could beat any man out there. He's my protector. He loves me. He feeds me. He takes me to the park. He does the, but he doesn't know that his side profession is a bank robber.
Hmm.
Child doesn't know that. He's devoid of knowledge in certain areas. So he's open. This is why, for them to get us as adult men and women to do just about anything, just like you can get a baby if they fall in love with you as their father or protector or mother, you can get that child to do almost anything because they are open to your influences. This is why they have to get society, they have to train us like they train infants.
Yes. Yes.
They have to train us like they train babies. The word baby is a Semitic word. Semitic word comes from and Arabic also, that Shemitic word, bab.
Yes.
And bab means,
Um, Door
yeah,
or an
that's what
opening.
every baby is, an
Yeah.
open door. That's all a
Open door.
baby is an open door to a new experience.
Yeah.
There's the baby on this side of the door. There's the
Hmm.
experience on the other side of the door that they have no clue what it is.
Hmm.
It's a mystery on the other side of the door
That's right. That's right.
until you open the door or until you
That's
remove the curtain.
right.
So that bab is what came to be the word baby,
Hmm.
babby, baby in our language. So, what we have to protect against in this knowledge environment, which is also full of filth, filthy knowledge, filthy language, we have to protect against being too open to these
Yes.
influences.
Right. Exactly.
And the best way to protect ourselves, to protect our integrity, to protect our sanity, Michael, is to stop being so open to the language of this world.
That's right.
Run it through a filter called Al Quran.
Mm,
Just run the language through a filter
mm,
called Al Quran. As soon as they say something, check it by the Quran.
mm,
If you can, if you're good enough to do that. If you're
hmm.
not good enough to do that and you're not sure, reject it until you can be sure.
On
If you
that
do,
note, oh, I'm
mm-hmm.
sorry. No, I didn't mean to
No,
interrupt.
please, come
No,
on.
no, that was so profound when you said run it through the filter, the language of the Quran. You know, if if let's say if that would make me say like, so how do I do that? I know I read the Quran,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not really reading the Quran to be able to understand
Yeah,
it being
yeah.
a filter and you know how to run it as such.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I guess that's what's the whole premise of Nunetics is.
Yeah. Well, let me show you the original filter.
Okay.
Your nervous system.
Hmm.
Your nervous system is the human being's first filter.
Hmm.
It's the thing in you, even as a baby, as a toddler, as a preteen. It's the thing in you that will stop stuff from coming in if it doesn't feel quite right.
Right.
When you begin to let these ideas in, even though 2 years ago you knew they weren't quite right, it's
Hmm.
because someone has eroded your filter.
Hmm.
There's no more filter. In our world, the main occupation that has been responsible for eroding our moral filter has been our comedians.
Hmm.
We thought it was going to be a politician.
Hmm.
The politicians are now acquiescing to the low level of the comedian. They
Hmm.
started in our communities, African American communities, through people like Dick Gregory, Richard Pryor. I'm not going to put Dick Gregory so much, but because he used to be a filthy comedian. Then he
Hmm.
went into politics and social, the social world. But Richard Pryor, for sure. Richard Pryor, you can name five, six, seven of them,
I
who are
know,
just,
yeah, Red Fox and
yeah,
Rudy May Moore.
Yeah, Moore, I think his name is, right? Rudy
Yeah.
Moore?
Yeah.
Rudy Ray Moore. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, these
Rudy
guys.
Ray Moore. Yeah.
Yeah, and remember we used to listen to him? I don't know about you.
And Mom's Mabley.
Yeah, Mom's maybe for sure. I don't know about you, but I know with me, my parents didn't let me listen to that. As a matter of fact, I didn't even know it existed when my mother was alive, my mother and father,
Mhm.
because they used to call them, I forget what kind of records they used to call them, but they used to come in a brown paper bag. When you went to buy them at the record store, they were in a
Yes.
brown paper bag.
Hmm.
And you kind of snuck it into the house. And then you
Yes.
would wait until Saturday or Friday
Right.
night when the children were put to bed.
Yes.
And then you and the grown-ups would sit around the record player and laugh yourselves into oblivion over what Red Fox had to say.
That's right.
Because we had a filter even then.
Yes, that's right.
But then along came Richard Pryor. And I'm not saying
Hmm.
that to say he's a bad guy, in
Right.
terms of bad, but I'm saying that they used him for that purpose.
Hmm.
One
Yes,
man was used to help erode the morals of 20, 30 million people
that's right.
who now accept him as a hero.
That's right.
They took Bill Cosby and they knocked him off the pedestal, whereas we thought he was the moral one.
That's right.
And then they took the
Absolutely.
one who was talking a lot of immoral stuff and they elevated him to almost a god among
That's right.
us.
Yeah. Absolutely,
And this,
man. Yes.
this
Yeah,
demon here is no joke.
that's right.
All right. And we are the ones that are responsible for keeping that filter clean. Even with your AC, if you don't change the filter, your heating system, you have to every now and then change the filter,
That's right.
or you'll be blowing the same air,
Hmm.
creating the same dust, circulating the same dust and filth that it was before you put the new thing in the wall or in
Hmm.
on the screen or on the air conditioner.
Hmm.
You have to make sure that the filter remains clean.
That's right.
Now, if Muslims want to know what that means directly, it means that you have to begin developing so-called comedians who are conscious of that.
That's right.
You can tell jokes, but your jokes have to have a good intent. At
Yes.
the end of that joke, when that punchline happens, it has to be something that will also uplift you morally
That's right.
or spiritually, or at least rationally.
Mm-hmm.
When you think about it and say, did you hear the way he told that joke? Did you hear the punchline of that joke? Man, that was deep.
When you're talking, it reminds me of Dave Chappelle.
Yeah,
How
yeah,
he probably, to my knowledge, is probably one of the better ones in that regard. How he
yes.
how he can weave in.
But that's true only for a particular level of his comedy.
That's true.
He still has to acquiesce to the big boys who are paying him.
That's right. Yeah.
So, in that regard, he has to keep some things beyond nasty as jokes.
Yes.
And if you understand how the human mind works, the human mind cannot operate thinking in two different directions. So,
Hmm.
you can't be moral and immoral at the same time. The human brain doesn't register that.
Right.
With the human brain, as the Bible says, you have to be one way or another.
Hmm.
You can't be both. It says you have to either be hot or cold. That's the Bible.
Hmm.
Anything other than that is hypocritical.
Hmm.
So you have to go all the way with, yeah.
Hmm.
So, and again, I'm not saying that, but oh, every time we get a person in the culture who's, for us, Dave Chappelle, he's for us, and we always knock ourselves down. Listen, Instructor Benjamin Bilal takes no prisoners,
Hmm.
none,
Hmm.
not when it comes to the health and safety of our people's life
Yes. No,
and
I hear
business.
that.
I can't do it.
Hmm.
If you won't play it in front of your children, it ain't worth you listening to.
That's no, you know what? That's the standard, right? That's the
Yeah,
standard.
yeah. So I don't know what other people are hearing when they listen to Dave Chappelle. I'm hearing filth.
That's funny because with my children, they're all adults now. They like him, and I'm gonna be honest. Well, I'll listen to him because sometimes he'll say things that I'm thinking, okay, that was clever. He has a. I'm not saying Richard Pryor was not clever, but he was more. I wouldn't put him on the level of Dave Chappelle in terms of him being clever
Mhm.
and how he delivers his messages in a way that, like the punchline that you mentioned,
Yes.
that you'll stop and think about it. But
Hmm.
for Richard Pryor, I never, for the times I did listen to him, I never really stopped to think about what he was saying. But with Dave Chappelle, more so than all the other ones I've listened to, at least in my lifetime. And the other thing I'll say to that, brother, it's like, and you probably experience it if you have adult children, sometimes I remember one time, like Kanye West. Now he's not a comedian, but he's an entertainer. But the boy is crazy.
On the fly.
And and I remember one time I just came out and says, "Man, I don't see what y'all see in this." And they go, "Well, Dad, he's a musical genius. At least the one time he was." I'm thinking, I'm not feeling it. But I find myself like, okay, they have this. What do you call it? They have this like liking for somebody that you may not care for because like as like as you're older you can see things from a
Yeah, that's what
different
they do.
lens.
They
And,
blame
you
it on
know
the generation.
yeah, and then you just have to kind of say, okay, I'm not going to try to, I won't be changing any minds in this conversation.
No.
But
So you go with the Quranic principle of la ikraha fi din, that there's
mhm,
no compelling in the deen.
that's right,
You
exactly,
speak your piece. See,
that's
that's the
right,
important thing.
that's right.
You don't what do they say? When in Rome, do as the Romans do. That's
Still,
not
yeah,
our philosophy.
that's right, right,
That's not our ideology.
right.
I do the same thing. If someone comes over and they want to play a particular movie that I know has a lot of stuff in it. Now I listen to stuff because I have to be aware of what the culture is saying.
Well, absolutely, you
Yeah.
do.
The key thing is whether you're accepting that and allowing it to absorb
That's right.
to the point where it begins to make your decisions, that
No,
new
that's true.
morality.
No, no, you're right. Absolutely.
That's what you can't let happen. But how can I even address an issue if I don't even know what they're saying? I used to encourage my children to say, I hear, I went on that little ride with you and you were driving and I heard you playing an artist. And he knows that the artist was cussing and fussing. He's trying to turn it down so his father won't hear it. And I said, who is that? And he said, oh, that's so and so. And I said, really? I said, okay. I said, well, what is you like about it? They said, well, Dad, he's a different generation, and he does say some really deep things from time to time. I said, play some of those deep things for me.
Mm-hmm.
And he would go to a particular song and he play it, and I say, you're right, man. That was deep. You got any? Does he have any more like that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's my
yeah.
that's my psychology.
There you go.
He's
No, there
got
you go,
more
man.
like that.
Yeah.
Can you send me that
Right.
album and tell me what song that was that you just played like that? Man, I like that. And
Yeah.
sometimes he'll get in our automobile and I'll be playing that song that he likes by that artist that I don't like.
Yeah. No, I hear you. No,
So
that's
we're
exactly
dealing with
right.
psychological warfare here, my friend.
No, no, you're right. No, you're right.
I'm not going
No,
to
you're absolutely
dismiss
right.
it outright. I'm not going to dismiss him. I'm not going to dismiss my younger generation. Then you've lost a whole generation unnecessarily.
That's right.
We have to always remember that they are in a different bubble than
That's
we
right.
were in. And we were in a bubble also. But
Right.
they're in a different bubble. And just because they came out of you as a mother or came out of, your sperm as a dad, it doesn't mean they're going to automatically understand what you're saying and
Yes.
why you're saying it.
Right.
There is a cultural divide. It's been done intentionally. There's
Mm-hmm.
nothing we can do about it on this level. The best we can do is what the Quran says, O ye who have accepted faith, save yourselves
Mm-hmm.
and your families
That's right.
from the fire whose fuel is men. I don't pretend that I can save the whole ethnic group.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to save all black people.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the Quran's advice to me.
That's right.
The Quran's advice is to save yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because if yourself and the people who you're surrounded with are not saved, are not redeemed, saved, protected, then how in the world can I do that for the whole people if the
Mm-hmm.
people in my little family circle don't have that protection?
That's right.
How can I go out and fend for 30 to 40 million black people?
Mm-hmm.
But the 3 or 4 people who are in my family circle, who I see every day practically if they're growing up in my household, I haven't done anything to correct that mind or that behavior or that attitude. And sometimes they grow up being the worst of the bunch
That's right.
because we didn't put checks and balances on them when they were young.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a deep study and it's a deep reflection that we have to make on what's happening in our social circle. And you also have to be ready to take in and accept people from other ethnicities who are showing the kind of human concern that you identify with.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone is Indian, if someone is Chinese, and they're showing some rational sense and some moral tenacity, I want to talk to that person often. I want to help them save themselves and their families.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be able to communicate with people, speak to people. You have to understand the nuances of language, open, touch, vowel, consonant, expression leads to impression.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Allah means when he says he created us min teen, from clay. Clay is impressionable. You stick
Mm-hmm.
your finger in there, it's going to leave the impression that your thumb created.
That's right.
So if Allah created the human being from clay, then it means he created us to be impressionable.
Mm-hmm.
And he also says he created us from a clay that's called salsal.
Mm.
two clays.
Hmm.
One is thin, the other one is sal sal,
Hmm.
a sound that repeats itself
Hmm.
and has the same operating consonants as the word soul.
Yes.
So I like to say he created us from soul, soul,
Hmm.
because he created us from two souls.
Right.
Min nafsin wahida,
Hmm.
that's the first soul.
Hmm.
And then minha, from her,
Hmm.
zawjaha,
Right.
her mate.
Right.
So he created us from two souls. This is where
That's
this world gets its logic from the Quran, on the most
hmm.
part.
Hmm.
They can't fool me.
Hmm.
These ears are finely tuned,
Hmm.
and that's a blessing for us.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's part one of our conversation
I
on language.
appreciate it, man. No, I'm gonna definitely yeah, I'm gonna definitely replay this and I'm gonna definitely think on it, reflect on it, and take notes. It's
Yeah.
a lot to unpack, as they say.
Yeah. Yeah. Unpack, ponder.
Ponder. I like ponder.
Yeah.
Ponder.
Yeah. If you've ever sat by a pond,
No,
I know
I
why you like it.
yeah,
A
no, I
pond,
know. I remember when I
those
was younger,
peaceful. Yeah.
as a Boy Scout, we had to go out
Yeah.
and yeah, nature, even back then, it's something about it that you see that still pond and
Yeah.
nature's mirror.
Yes. And they say still waters run
Run
deep.
deep. The Four Tops. Man, the Four Tops, still
Yeah,
waters
I
run
remember.
deep. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, I know. This is good, brother. I'm glad we got a
Yeah.
chance to spend this time together. And my book's coming along, and I hope shortly I'll be able to
Fantastic.
get it out. And so yeah, you're
Fantastic.
gonna the Nunetics influence is going to be heavily in. It's going to be
Yeah.
represented in the book. But the one thing I'll say in closing,
Hmm.
and you can give me some advice on this. Like that the other day we were talking how we made the connections between picture and kitab.
Yes. Oh man.
Um, so the book.
Can you explain that real fast? So if anybody gives this, they know that connection
What's that? Oh,
between the kitab and the picture.
okay, like so picture. So you isolate the P and the C and the T. The P is a labial, uh, and the C. Well, when you enunciate picture, the C becomes a K,
Yes.
and then the T is exactly
Yeah.
a T, and then the word kitab. So the K the English K corresponds with the Arabic kaf, and the uh, the English P corresponds with the Arabic letter ba because they're both labials,
Yes.
and and then the T is an exact match, the ta to the
Hmm.
English T, and so the picture is like an image that the book contains. And once that
Yeah.
image is in the book, you can read the image because the image has so many levels of layers of meaning. Like that old adage, a picture's worth 1,000 words.
Yes.
So that
How
means
about that?
that
How about
so
that? Yeah.
so when that picture is when it's contained in that book, it's a universe of meaning,
Yeah.
and then you
I
have to
think I,
connect the
I
dots.
yeah. I think I had mentioned to you when you mentioned that to me a couple of days ago. I was so excited about that connection. I had never thought of it,
Well,
but
hey, but you were the one who taught us how to think this way.
well, alhamdulillah, listen, like I said, it doesn't come to me; it only comes through me.
Even still though, brother, it's like I was saying to you, if you didn't teach this, I don't think I would have I wouldn't have been able to. I mean, like going back to what you were saying in our conversation, you opened me to it
Yeah,
because my
yeah,
my so like and
hmm,
back and then like and then you mentioned how the imam said the fitter can't help you unless you're open to it.
that's right. Absolutely,
So I'm
I
open
accept
to
that.
that. So I'm open to
I
it.
accept that. I say that for people who will hear this, so
Yes.
that they won't get, uh, so that they won't be unclear on where it's coming from.
And you know what? And on that note, like the book that I'm working on, so there's four basic prompts. Um, there's the source, the seed, the root, and reed. So for me, when I write the book, because the source is the Pitra, and you can also like if you know how to read the Quran, you could take different words, isolate it, and unpack those words, which again which is attached to the book, the
Yeah.
Quran, and the Fitra. And then the seed, as you taught us, that's where the Fitra meaning is compacted in. And then you take each seed and you make a composite root, which gives that word even more meaning, more depth, because you're extracting the meanings from the seeds
Mhm.
as it makes a composite word. And then the roots, which is an allusion to route. That means there's a route, there's a pattern. So if you can read the route, like when a seed sprouts, what does it do? It sprouts roots. Roots is like a play on a logic that you follow because
Yes.
it's something it's linear and it's got different uh, pathways. And so if you read it correctly, then the insights start to come. Source,
Yeah,
seed,
I see it.
root, and reed.
I would be remiss if I didn't mention this.
Yes.
In those vowels
Hmm.
are also levels of expression that
Hmm.
add to the meaning of the words that use them.
Yes. Yes.
So fatha, of course, is the open mouth. Ah, kesra is where the mouth is a bit closed. E, the eh sound, and then the e, elongated sound,
Hmm.
and then the and the u sound of the dhamma. Those are the three vowels. Fatha, kesra, dhamma.
Right.
Those are the only three vowels in Arabic.
Hmm.
I'm going to tell you very clearly what they mean so you can begin
Okay.
applying them immediately.
Yes.
Sadha, we did discuss the meaning there. It means open, to be open.
Right.
So when you see Allah using the fatha in words, it's also saying to us that whatever this word means, that the understanding of it is open for anybody to get,
Mm-hmm.
beginning with the word Allah.
Mm-hmm.
When you see that fatha, kitab, and in fact, that's why almost all of the verbs in the dictionary contain fatha, kataba,
Mm-hmm.
allama, right?
Mm-hmm.
All of them, because all of that knowledge is open for humanity to get.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know how to construct it. Once you understand its construction, then you can begin applying the logic of those differences
Mm-hmm.
to the meaning of that word. I won't go into all of the nuances of that, but suffice it to say that that's how that works.
Mm-hmm.
So, ah is an open sound. As we said, the infant first expresses it upon being born
Mm-hmm.
because the psyche of the infant is open to all influences now.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody can come along and influence that child if the child is in that environment. The kesra is the I sound,
Mm-hmm.
or we say the E sound if it's elongated. Beef, those words. Um, Perceive, that. So
Mm-hmm.
what it means is that the mouth is not completely open;
Mm-hmm.
it's partially open, but it's mostly closed.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when we talk about these vowels, I want you to think about how the intellect operates. How the intellect operates. The intellect is just your mental mouth.
Mm-hmm.
The word for teeth, working with the teeth, is sana, which is also where we get the word sunnah.
Mm-hmm.
Sana is teeth, and it represents the mastication of information when it comes into the intellect.
Hmm.
When the mouth is open, you're receiving food, information in the mind. When the mouth closes to chew, you're taking that information and now you're contemplating.
Hmm.
You're trying to digest what was being fed to the mind. If
Hmm.
I catch you while you are inviting the food in, I get to see what's in your mouth.
Hmm.
If I catch you while you're inviting information in, whether you're in the library or at home studying or whatever, and I look at the book and I see what you're reading, I know what's going into your mind.
Hmm.
But if I catch you after you have digested some of that book mentally, you might be there going, wow, I have no idea what you're wowing over.
Hmm.
You have to do what you would do with food that's already in your mouth, that you've already chewed on. You have to tell me what that is.
Right.
How beautiful a concept that is.
Yes.
Once it's in you,
Hmm.
you have to tell me what it is. That's
Right.
kesra.
Mm.
Kesra means to chew.
Hmm.
That's kesra. When food is already in the mouth and you've already masticated it, you've already chewed on it, you've already turned it over, you've already put the saliva and all that, and the enzymes are going into it, and it's being broken down to the point where even if you open your mouth at a certain point, I still won't know what it is because you done you done put all the acids that got to it. You still got to tell me what that nasty stuff is, right? But you're enjoying it. Man, this is good. This is great. Right. All right. Once it's down the gullet, it becomes a part of the system.
Yes.
Becomes a part of the solar plexus, becomes a part of the bloodstream, that's considered spiritual.
Mm.
And that's what the sound means, the dhamma. See, dhamma is from the same root that's going to give you the word for blood.
Mm.
Dhamma, you know it, right?
Right.
So blood is when the nutrients from the food is beginning to circulate through the entire body. And there's only one influence that Allah created that can saturate your entire body, and that's your soul.
Mm. Yes.
Yeah, you keep chewing on this world's food, it's eventually going to take over your whole soul. That's how people become devil worshippers. That's how
Yes.
people get in love, become in love with demonology,
Hmm.
satanic rituals, all of that stuff, because they've been chewing on it so long that it is not just a permanent or temporary thing in the personality that they can express at will. It will eventually take over your entire soul. So that's ooh, we use that sound for spooky things. Ooh, we have the ghost. The ghost says boo. So when Allah uses the elongated dhamma, that ooh sound in the Quran, look for something spiritual.
Mm.
Look for something that is intended to saturate your entire being. Allah talks about al-buruj.
Hmm.
They call it the stars, the
Yes.
constellations. When you look up there at night, you go, oh, and we fall in love. Man, that was like a big dipper. We start, yeah, our imagination, yeah. All of that is, ooh.
That's right.
Allah says that the entire world is el ghurur.
That's right.
You follow that?
No, yeah, this is like,
Yeah,
oh man, this is good. This is really good. This,
yeah,
this, no, this is a good meal.
absolutely.
Good meal.
And then lastly, when you just take that same principle of vowel pronunciation and what these three vowels mean
Oh,
and apply it.
brother, real quick. My wife called me. Can you give me 1 sec?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Oh, okay, okay, 1 sec.
Of course. Yeah. Last point, I promise.
No
Just
worries.
take Al-Fatiha as
Okay,
the sample surah.
okay.
Read it, carefully,
Yes.
paying attention to the vowel sounds at the end of each ayat. You're going to find that most of the endings are kesra related.
Hmm.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. E Min Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim.
Mm-hmm.
Maliki Yawmiddin.
Mm-hmm.
إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين.
Mm-hmm.
اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم. It's not elongated. It's a
Mm-hmm.
kesra, but it's not elongated.
Mm-hmm.
غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
Mm-hmm.
What's the point there? That as they would say that Al-Fatiha represents the entirety of the Quran,
Yes.
the majority or the entirety of the Quran is designed to elevate the human intellect.
Hmm. Interesting.
It's not trying to make you a spiritual guru,
Hmm.
and it's not trying to leave you open to where other people can come in and manipulate you.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as they start talking, the intellect goes to work
Mm.
because that elongated E is that chewing factor in the human intellect. That's the most important point in this conversation.
Interesting. Interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
You know, the one thing when you were saying about the whole point is to educate the intellect.
Yes.
That once it's educated, then it's going to preserve your fit for filter, like what you had at
Oh,
birth.
I like that combination.
Okay.
Fitful filter. Yeah.
Um, no, this is really good. This is really, really
Yeah.
profound.
And it protects it until you can rise up to the level where you don't even really need the intellect like you would normally need it. You don't have to check and balance everything that comes into your mind. That filter is going to be so accurate that the protection that you would really, you know, be adamant about keeping the tiptoe through the tulips thing that you'd have to do to not step on any, you know, any mess that a dog might have left. you
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
know, you can open up book after book after book, author after author, and you don't have to do that anymore.
No, that's very
Matter of
true.
fact, you won't even have to read all the books you've been reading.
No, you're absolutely right.
You will then
Absolutely
be
right.
open, more open to what Allah is trying to gift you with on the spiritual level. And
Yes.
that's when you'll have, they call it an aha moment. I don't like
Mm-hmm.
that phrase.
Mm-hmm.
You might call it an ooh, moment
Right. Right.
because it's going to take you to a level of spiritual understanding
Mm-hmm.
that you won't always need to tap on the shoulder of your intellect and say, can you explain this to me? You'll know it automatically
Mm.
because that's the final graduation in your internal evolution.
Would you
You go from
say
instinct
would
to emotion to intellect to spiritual.
mhm.
Go ahead.
No, I guess you're someone answered my question because I was thinking that the intellect that we're talking about now, it's even like how do I want to say it? You know, like people talk about like you have this like you have like this you have what level you have one level it's where you can think rationally and logically, but that's not really the intellect we're talking about. We're talking about the one that it has a it has a spiritual, rational, moral combination. Um, that's I guess what I'm kind of thinking.
Yeah.
It's like a perfect merger of those three principles. Now, does
Let
that
me explain
represent?
it. Let me
Yes. Okay.
explain it. Let me
Okay.
explain it this way. So there's no confusion at
Okay.
the end of our conversation.
All right.
The intellect is not a spiritual tool. The intellect is a moral and rational tool that, if not used correctly, will divide and conquer the world. That's the intellect. The intellect is not interested in spiritual ideas. The intellect is interested in pragmatic, rationally applied logic.
Hmm.
But it's designed to build the world. But before you can build a world, you have to first take things apart before you put them back together, like a child does. See,
Hmm.
everything we're talking about is individual. A child will sit down with blocks and different colors, and he'll take all the colors apart, then he'll put all the colors together. You show him this blue, that's blue. This is red, that's red. This is yellow. So as we watch our grandchildren grow, we study these things if we didn't already know them. So the intellect is what we're calling the nefs. People think about the nefs as being the soul, but as Imam Muhammad indicated, the soul is really a combination of the intellect operating within the parameters of the soul. It's not just a spiritual quality. It's a spiritual quality that sometimes has to go to war against the rational quality. And when you look at the Arabic word nafs, Nafs, you'll see that it's consonantally connected to the English word knives,
Hmm.
the knife,
Hmm.
but plural, knives, because nafs is a plural word. People don't know that.
Hmm.
Okay. So what does the nafs do? It divides and separates.
Yeah.
That's what a knife does.
That's
I
yeah.
want to cut my steak, whatever. I use my knife, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that's what the intellect does. It separates and what did Allah say about the Khalifa? The angels asked the question: are you going to create someone who's going? Are you going to make someone who's going to create bloodshed?
Hmm.
You understand? You're going to create the facet. You're going to create all these bad things in the world, mischief, bloodshed. That's a knife because the Khalifa represents the same consonantal connections as the word nafs.
Hmm.
Well, no, not as nafs, pardon me. The Khalifa represents the same consonantal connections as the word separate.
Hmm.
You're on your own, you'll do that deep dive. If you
Okay.
understand
Okay.
that S, yeah, that S and the Kha, the guttural K or Kha, are interchangeable.
Hmm.
And of course, the P in separate is compatible with the F labial. So the words separate and Khalifa are related. See,
I
once
like
you
I
know
can see.
these,
Mhm.
you see it? Yeah. Once you know these letters, man, you're off to the races.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh no,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, I'm just, yeah, I just wrote it down, and so yeah,
Yeah.
I can see
Listen,
it.
Michael, you have to separate before you can join.
Yes,
When you're born into this world, does your mother just throw you out into society? She keeps you separated.
yes,
Separation is the first. That's why Elijah Muhammad pushed that so hard. We must separate.
right, right.
People thought he was just talking about black people separating from white people. No, he was talking a very high level of esoteric knowledge
Hmm.
that was connected to how nature operates.
Hmm.
You have to, every mother separates her newborn child or her young children from the rest, even of the rest of the bears or the rest of the little cows, the calves. You
Hmm.
got to keep that separated until
Hmm.
they have gotten enough maturity
That's
to be
right.
able to operate in a world of variation.
Yes, yes.
You understand? Yeah.
Yes.
So that's nature doing that. So the Khalifa is not somebody that's going to appear, today in modern day Iran as a sheikh or as a caliph or some foolish thought like that. I'm sorry if
Hmm.
you like that language and I'm calling it foolish because it is. You've been waiting for this Khalifa for 1,000 years. He hadn't shown up yet, like Jesus has been waiting for 2,000 years and he hadn't shown up yet because they got the wrong concept
Right,
of what that
right.
language is saying. It's really that
Okay.
simple. You have to run 2,000 years. I'm waiting for my father to come back home. I'm
That's
supposed to
really,
believe you. Daddy left 2,000 years ago
I'm still
with a
waiting.
promise. I'll be back. I'm going to get myself together. I'm going to tell mama I'll be back home. You're telling your son, Daddy be back. That you grown. You're a grown man now. You still, Daddy will be back. Don't worry about it. Why are you out of your mind? No, Daddy doesn't have to come back.
Right.
The spirit of the information has to return.
There you go.
That's the only thing returning, my friend.
That's right. That's
And that's
right.
going to give you an increase in the evolution of your human qualities. It's the
I'm sure.
human being that's coming back,
Yes.
the true human, because most of the world, that true human has been decimated and defeated to the point where people said, this will never come back.
Right.
But
Right.
what did Allah say about Jesus in the Quran? They
That
neither
he's
killed him nor crucified
he's
him,
fine. Yeah. Right.
but it was made to appear as
Peer.
such. And those
Right.
who argue about it do so with no knowledge. They
That's
don't
right.
have any
Yeah.
science. They don't have any ilm. They don't understand this high level of
Yes.
scientific investigation into this language. So they just accept it and it becomes mythology.
Right.
Well,
Absolutely.
I'm going to leave you there, my friend.
Okay. No, no, this is good. No, I'm looking forward to the replay, and I'm definitely going to
Yeah.
study this.
Yeah. As soon as it's ready, I'll send you.
No, I appreciate the time as always, brother.
Always, man. I meant to make an announcement tonight about
Yes.
you. Yeah. I didn't say this to you, so it'll be a surprise to you also
Okay.
that you are going to be inducted into the class as the first master instructor
Oh man. I don't know about all that, man.
and probably for a long time before another person reaches that level.
That- well, you
I
know it's
know you.
coming. Now it's coming.
I know you. I know you.
Yeah, you do.
So I wouldn't confer anything upon you that I didn't think you were earning or worthy of. So
I
accept it
appreciate it.
and let it be the fuel that gets you down the road to where your true mission is in Nunetics and beyond Nunetics. You have a natural propensity for putting this language together. And you've given me enough original input without me telling you what something means.
Mhm.
And I had to think two or three times when you would give me a word and say, is that really, that is related? Like you did with picture and kitab.
Mhm.
I'm like, is that related really? Many times I've seen these words, I never put that together.
Mhm.
And then I mentioned to you about the cuneiform, which is the
Mhm.
first form of clay writing,
Mhm.
cuneiform out
Mhm.
of ancient Mesopotamia.
Mhm.
And what it is basically is clay tablets that have etchings in them. Look up
Yes.
anybody out there. Cuneia, I believe. Cuneiform. Form. Yeah. Form. Cuneiform. It's just clay, wet clay, like what Allah said He created the human being from, because He did. He created the human mind and the capacity for language from cuneiform.
Mhm.
And they would etch into the clay to form their picture writing. They had the first form of picture writing even before ancient Egypt. It was cuneiform of ancient Mesopotamia, right?
Mhm.
So what does that have to do with kitab? The word kitab doesn't only mean book. They made it mean book. It doesn't mean book. It
Mhm.
actually means etchings.
Yes.
And what that means is that whatever a kitab is, it has writing that has permanent markings. Now you can come along later or you can introduce a false one, a false kitab, based on what you've etched. But a true kitab is going to have etchings
Mm-hmm.
that cannot be erased. Somebody carves "I love you" in the side of a tree.
Mm-hmm.
Tom loves Rachel, or whatever, in the side of a tree. You can have a storm as long as that tree remains rooted.
Mm-hmm.
That etching from 100 years ago, tree,
Right.
300
Mm-hmm.
years ago, the
Mm-hmm.
etching is still going to be there.
Right.
That's how you know true scripture
Mm-hmm.
from false scripture. There's
Right.
no consistency in false scripture.
Mm-hmm.
True scripture is still going to reflect ideas that emanate directly from Allah's fitrah.
Mm.
That's his palette. That's the sketchboard, or the whatever you call that people paint on. That board,
Or the like the canvas.
the canvas. Yes, that's what I was looking for. Yeah, that's the canvas, man. So
Yeah,
take your
see,
canvas and continue to paint, man.
I am, brother. You
All right.
you give me all the tools, the brush and the colors and the
Yeah.
canvas.
And Allah says, color with the coloring of Allah.
Of what? What was the
You
last
read
part?
that in the Quran?
No,
Allah
coloring with.
says, and color with the coloring of Allah. The word is sibgha.
Okay.
Sibgha. 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 It's from sabagha. A lot of wisdom in that word.
And so it's like it was so one more time. I'm sorry.
S
Okay.
I B
Okay.
G H A.
Got it. Okay. I'm definitely going to look into this.
All right.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much.
Talk to you
Uh,
soon.
okay, okay. All right, brother. So
Yes, sir.
always a pleasure. So I'm gonna look forward to the replay. So I'm definitely gonna be playing this more than once, that's for sure.
Absolutely. All right.
Okay,
Salam
brother.
alaikum,
Wa
my
alaikum
brother.
assalam. All right.